Now that the dust has settled on update 1.23, I wanted to come on and give my view on it and the general direction of Gran Turismo. So guys, welcome to another video. Unless you've been living under a rock, you'll know that the latest update, 1.23, dropped on the 30th of July, which is a large update and there was plenty going on. There's a few main bits for me that I wanted to cover and give my view on, and there's some bits that I'm not so worried about. But the main bits that I did think we need to cover are the new cars, the new track or tracks, depending on how you look at it, the introduction of the microtransactions within the game, the tyre model, and finally, and for me the most importantly, the move from daily to weekly races. So let's get into it. The first addition were the normal bits to campaign mode, but to be honest I haven't touched campaign mode at all, and I'm unlikely to. I love GT Sport for the human versus human element. That's the biggest thing for me. AI at this time is just absolutely terrible for me in every single game, not just Gran Turismo Sport, across F1, etc, all of it. So for me that was never going to excite me, and that was the first bit that they covered, but I will not be doing that. The scapes and the livery editor have had a few additions. So with the scapes there's a few different areas, but the main thing is they can put the driver in the photos now. To be honest, I think some will be excited for this, but quite frankly I'm not creative enough to take advantage of this at all. I'm very lucky that I have some very talented members of my community who do this for me, so I look forward to what they can do with these new bits at their disposal. And the final bit I wasn't too worried about was with the sport mode. Basically they've said that they've adjusted the penalty judgment algorithm. Time penalties added due to collisions will be reduced. And then it says, please note that sportsmanship rating can drop even without a time penalty. For me, the penalties are an ongoing thing, and I expect them to be always tweaked throughout all and basically all future updates. I don't think they're ever going to get it right. When they first changed there was a lot of noise about it. For me it is what it is. I can't affect it. So I'm just going to roll with the punches and trust that Polyphony Digital will get it right over time. But I think that's a big task, and one that they're not going to fix perfectly anytime soon. But all in all, I think the perks of Gran Turismo overcome the issue with the penalties. It's still a good game, still a fantastic game. For me, the best game, even with these penalties. And I'll trust them, and I think I'm going to allow them some time just to get it right. So those were the bits I wasn't too concerned with. Let's move on to the bits I do think are going to make a difference and did make me stand up and listen. The first thing, obviously, as you can see in the background there, is the new cars. So for those who don't know, there was 8 cars added to the game. There was a crappy Daihatsu Copen, an old school Ferrari 250 GTO, a Honda Beat, a Honda S660, and then the meaty stuff, the Ford GT LM Spec 2 test car, which is in Group 3, and the Mazda 787B, as you can see in the background there, and finally the Mercedes AMG F1 car. Well, there's 2 variants of it. They're the same car. One is in the Mercedes livery and 2 are in the other colours. Of those cars that have been released, it's a good selection to be honest, but I will really only be using 2 cars. Realistically, I'll only be using the Ford GT, which is currently, I don't know if it's the best car for that track that's currently on Daily Race C, the new track, or everyone's just jumped on it, used it for the first time. That's been the one in the top 10, so everyone else has followed suit. I bought it, but as I say, I haven't used it yet, but I'm looking forward to doing so. And the second one is this, the Mazda 787B. I absolutely love this car. I was going to use the B-roll of this video as the new circuit, but to be honest, I had to get this car around Monza. If you just listen to it wailing past the start-finish line there you go. It just sounds so good. It's such a shame they don't make engines like this anymore. Hopefully one day Mazda will, but I think this is a great addition to go with the 3 other old school LM cars. It's a shame they're not in their own class, but you can make that happen through lobbies and such, which I will definitely be doing. To warn you all, we will definitely be doing some old school stuff. The next big part of the update was the new track, or tracks depending on what you see it as. So the Circuit de la Sainte Croix, I think that's how you say it, but I'm never very good with these names anyway. This track has been added in 6 different layouts. So essentially you've got A, B and C, and then you've got A2, B2, C2, which are the reverse variations of this track. Looking at it, it seems alright. I haven't got to the bottom of it yet, and to be honest with me, unless it's a real world track, it takes me a little bit of time to get used to. It's pretty disappointing that we're not getting a real world track here. I personally am not a fan of these fantasy tracks. Whilst they're okay and some of them are quite fun, nothing beats the real world for me. And I know there are license issues with Spa. For those who don't know, it's likely to never come to Gran Turismo because of the licensing issues, but there are other ones that we could have added. We could have added Laguna Seca, etc, etc. But it's a new addition, so let's suck it and see how we get on. Moving on, a more controversial addition to the game is the microtransactions. For those that don't know what that mean, or who hasn't seen it yet, basically you can buy cars in the PlayStation Store, just like you can do in other games. So my view on this is, it's welcome. I don't know what the issue is. If you don't like it, then you can just turn it off and not see it. That's fine. But for me, thinking about it from a business point of view, from Polyphony Digital, I've spent 40 or 50 quid, British pounds for those that don't know the slang of that, or the equivalent elsewhere on one game. Now I have wasted 50 quid on a lot less. The return on investment of this has had hours and hours of fun. So for me, if they want to make some more money by offering more cars, and at the moment there's not ones that you can only buy and you can't get with credits, you can still earn them through credits, but if you want a shortcut, for example the F1 car, I'm not going to sit there and slave away for 2 million credits. I'm just going to go and buy it, quite frankly. So for me it's a welcome addition, and as I say, if you don't like it, just turn it off and you don't have to worry about it. But I can see it from Polyphony's point of view, and to be honest, as I said, the amount of time and fun I've had on it, I'm happy to spend a little bit more money and give them a bit more money so they can keep the developments coming. So no issue with that from me. The penultimate topic that I'm going to cover is the new tyre wear. So basically what they've done is they've readjusted tyre simulation so that the handling during acceleration, deceleration and cornering have changed a little bit. Now I ran with this last night in an event, a 1-hour event at Suzuka, and to be honest I felt a slight adjustment. I quite enjoyed it, to be honest. You can't chuck it in as much, the cars aren't going to be stuck to the floor, and when you get offline or when you're on the edge of the track, etc., you're going to lose a little bit of grip, and it's going to take more time to scrub off all the marbles and all that crap, and you can actually see them now. I didn't notice them before on the side of the track, so it's a real welcome addition for me. Just another bit of realism and another thing that makes Gran Turismo great, in my opinion. So the final thing I want to cover, and to be honest for me the biggest negative as part of this update, is the daily races are now weekly races. Now, I like the idea, but we need to have more options. Just A, B and C, in my opinion, and for me, just isn't enough. Because to be honest, how many times, if you look at Daily Race B right now, it's Group 4 at Suzuka. I know they've adjusted the balance of power, but so that everybody may not use the Megane, but from what I understand, it's still really, really strong. I'm just done using that class at that track, to be quite honest. For me, I'd like to see a weekly, I almost said it again, a weekly race for every group. So a Group 1 weekly race, Group 2, 3, 4, and then all the rest, all the ends and stuff, I don't really care about them. I really only use the racing cars. I'm a racing fan. That's why I play this game, so I'll only be using GR1, 2, 3 and 4. So it's fine to have a weekly race for it, as long as there's a bit more variety, in my humble opinion. But hopefully they'll bring that forward in a fix or in the next update. It's surely just an algorithm change. Just have another random selection, just to give us a little bit more variety. Because what that's going to do is, in the positive, it's going to push people to practice more on the nations and manufacturers stuff. But for me, when I saw that, I actually thought, great, I'm actually going to have more time to explore other games, which is not what Polyphony want us to be doing. So in summary guys, I'm quite happy with it. There's a few good things like the track and the cars and the tyre bit and the microtransactions. I've got no issues with those at all, but there is a glaring thing for me, a glaring hole for the daily races going to weekly. I'm really not too keen at that at the moment, but let's see if they put in a fix in and hopefully give us a bit more variety with that one. But that's just my view guys. Let me know in the comment section down below what you like about the new update, what you dislike, whether you agree with me or disagree with me on the points that I've made. Let's get a discussion going. I'll be really keen to know what your guys' thoughts are. And I'm going to end the video there guys. As always, thank you so much for watching and listening to my ramblings. I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit the like button and make sure you are subscribed to the channel if you haven't already. Thanks again so much for watching guys, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers.